It's been 4 months since Ulster last played here. They finished last season with a fair old bit of style, putting their oldest rivals Leinster to the sword as they bid farewell to Alan Clark and Neil Doken. On the playing side, the great Ruan Pienaar and Roger Wilson, then Ulster's most and still Ulster's most capped players. But new faces, new challenges and new opposition. One or two Cheetahs fans have made the journey to see their team take the very first steps in an expanded Celtic League, which is now to be called the Guinness Super 14. And what a side this Cheetahs team could prove to be, and what an acquisition they could prove to be, and we are about to find out just how good they are. Battle hardened, a lot of these players have had a long summer, so they're certainly fit. It's not the biggest pack in the world, led by number 8 Neil Jordan. Only one international starting the side, Johan Aronos Coetzee, the Namibian, but loads of pace behind the scrum. Sean Venter, Clayton Lumkes, Roscoe Speckman and William Small-Smith all have played 7-a-side rugby at the highest level for South Africa. So there is genuine pace there behind a workmanlike solid pack.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Rory Best, as has been announced earlier this week, will captain the side once he returns from his rest after Lions duties. But the vastly experienced Chris Henry is doing the honours tonight. So having had two somewhat disappointing friendlies, particularly the second half capitulation against the Northampton Saints a week ago, this is the real thing. And right from the word go, which will be encouraging for the team, the Ulster fans in full voice as they welcome onto the pitch a side who hasn't won any silverware since the 2006 season. A lot of familiar faces singing that old familiar chant. Chris Henry captains the side from the back row, which includes new signing John Dysart. One hopes that Marcel Coetzee puts his injury worries behind him, and the same feeling has to go for Vian Herbst and Kyle McCall. Rob Herring, incidentally, plays his 100th league game. A lot of very experienced players, particularly in the back three of Ludic Piatow and Trimble. Tommy Bowe playing at outside centre. And welcome to Kingspan for the first competitive time to halfbacks John Cooney and Christian Liliafano. And there is the man who battled, I have to say, very successfully and pleasingly to everybody who knows him, the outside half from Australia, Andrew Brace, who's in his third year of this competition. His 24th game, the community officer of rugby down in Munster.
Good lads.
So the scene all set. The dark green patches actually are a bit of a hangover from the Women's World Cup. Somebody inadvertently used non-water-based paint to paint the pitch.
Okay, Tom on.
And Ulster Rugby have held their hands up and say it wasn't us, Gov. So Ulster's new number 10 gets this game underway, well taken in immediately by Reniel Hugo, the 6'6" second row forward for the Cheetahs, who's played 8 Super Rugby games. I watched them train here yesterday, and there was a lot of pace there. It's good containing by Ulster. Sean Venter, now 30 years of age. His outside half, Clayton Lumkes, gets it away. Gathered in by Charles Piatow. And deciding to opt for touch, which he hasn't found. And the Cheetahs are very quick. That's a good bit of tackling there by big Stuart McCluskey. Fenter gets it away. Alan O'Connor does the defending for Ulster. Again, it's Venter. He has got a very good pass, looking for a gap that wasn't there. The tackle was by Robbie Dyack, a South African himself, and the referee Andrew Brace said Ulster were lurking offside, and they concede the first penalty. And first thoughts from Tony McWhirter. Happy new season.
Happy new season, Jim. Happy new season to everybody at home. And textbook start from the South African team. Isn't it great to see them here? What a boost for this competition. Great take from the kick-off. Good clearance kick downfield, and they win the first penalty, and Ulster's straight back into it. Robbie Dyack giving away the penalty, coming in whenever the ball wasn't exposed at the back, and great attacking opportunity for the Cheetahs just outside the Ulster 22.
The 27-year-old Clayton Lumkes has put the Cheetahs into a very good position. They're right on Ulster's 22. This is Jacques Dutoit. Well taken to the back by Henko Venter. Cheetahs looking to move this. They've created a little bit of space here. This could be interesting. This is fullback Sergei Peterson. Played no fewer than 36 Super Rugby games. A lot of experience there, a lot of pace. Neil Jordan, the skipper, takes it forward. Ulster under a wee bit of pressure early on. Gave away the penalty that cost them. Referee's got the hand out. Is he going to award another penalty? Yes, he is. Well, I haven't seen anything different from Ulster, Tony, that we saw toward the end of last season.
No.
Penalties given away, 2 in the first 2 minutes.
Yeah, simple penalties as well, Jim, but the structure of the Cheetahs, very impressive early on, the width and play that you talked about, something that Ryan and Andy mentioned pre-match as well. They've had 5 or 6 games in the Cray Cup. They've won 5 of those, averaging over 30 points in each game and scoring tries for fun.
So an early chance of points, and the man who's going to take the kick is the man some 5 years ago captained the South African under-20s to the Junior World Cup. He's another sevens player. He's William Small-Smith, just 25 years of age. So coming up to 3 minutes gone, and this looks to be fairly regulation for the Toyota Cheetahs. Well, the curse of the commentator, whether he's in his first season or his 40th season, has come to pass, and William Small-Smith will wonder how that one got away. And I wonder, is that an omen, Tony?
Yeah, he's slightly nervous, one would say, and very uncharacteristic. South African sides normally backed with a very, very good place kicker, and perhaps uncharacteristic, but certainly a sign of nerves.
Well, that was a howler indeed. Leliafano gives it plenty of height for his forwards to chase, maybe a wee bit too far. Taken in by Reniel Hugo once again. And again, it's Robbie Dyack playing in the second row. Does the tackling. That's a clever little chip. Can it be gathered? Oh, it certainly can. Roscoe Speckman. And well taken there by Marcel Coetzee. Referee said, leave him. Brought back in field by Ulster. John Cooney. Chris Henry leading Ulster tonight.
Right up one.
Leliafano. Sean Dysel makes his mark early on. Quicker ball by Cooney. That's a clever little kick. It might just set up nicely for Louis Ludick. Impressive stuff by Ulster's new signing at number 10.
Yeah, Leafano looks very much in control. A couple of good kickoffs as well. Good to see John Dysel straight into it. Hard, abrasive character. He's a hulk of a man, Jim, and just chucked that straight up in. Good defence again by the Cheetahs, but fantastic play early on. That counter-attack, the wiper kick, Speckman holding his width wide. Ulster had to be very careful defensively. They don't become too narrow. Piatoy positioned himself well to gather the chip kick.
Neil Jordan, the skipper, took it well at the front. And again, look how they're creating a little bit of space. That's going to bounce and go into touch, but they made a bit of ground and they're back inside Ulster territory. Charles Piatoy, who's bound for Bristol at the end of this season, does decide to take it quickly. Good interpassing between himself and now Andrew Trimble. Here goes Piatoy. And Rob Herring, who's not sure of a yard or two of pace. Quick ball, Chris Henry at scrum half. Good stuff by Ulster. Oh, ripped away there from Robbie Dyack. He'll not be happy with that. But it was knocked forward in the ripping by the Cheetahs skipper. But what a pace this game's been played at.
Yeah, it's absolutely on fire, and Ulster, Jim, containing 5 South Africans in their own forward pack, so certainly the Ulster South Africans will be wanting to make a mark against their home men this evening as well. And Messrs Rob Herring on this occasion carrying well. He's so good in open play. Chris Henry making himself available at scrum half, and Ulster here to play rugby as well. That's the way that Les Case, John O'Gibbs like to coach, and certainly conditions are perfect for an open game of rugby.
Yes, there wouldn't be much point in the Cheetahs doing line-out calls in Afrikaans.
Very little. It may be Zulu this evening.
Yes, I wonder what the Ulster boys try Ulster Scots and see how they get on with the opposition.
Point.
First scrum of the evening. This could be interesting. Vian Herbst, another South African, now 29 years of age, Irish qualified. That's a good solid look at Ulster scrummage. Coetzee controls it. Cooney, Leliafano to Tommy Bowe. Good swift release to Louis Ludick. Well tackled, and Ludick has done well to release that. Cooney gets it away. This is good handling by Ulster. Orange-shirted Cheetahs spread right out. Here's Tommy Bowe. Little flat pass. Well taken by Piatoy, who stepped inside Blumkes. Dysel had a great run of form at the end of the season on loan to Munster. Could see that looked like a high tackle, Andrew Brace right on the money there. Dyack again, well tackled by Neil Jordan. Cooney gets away. And Ulster getting no advantage. And this will give Ulster the chance to take the lead.
It's good bit from both sides. Fano again, so comfortable with ball in hand. He's getting some good strike runners from Ulster. You can see the tactics that they're trying to employ. Running off 10, not the first runner and the second in this occasion. It's Marcel Coetzee trying to bash his way over the gain line. But the Cheetahs standing strong in defence. Robbie Dyack just needs to lower that body height. You see the high shot there on Coetzee. Just that stray arm comes in.
Yep.
Andrew Brace right on top of it. Played good advantage, also just not able to make anything out of it, Jim, but certainly the ball in hand, it's built for it this evening. The pitch is bone hard conditions, ball in hand. The rain's actually stopped in this part of the world for a day as well.
John Cooney, educated in the great Gonzaga College in Dublin and UCD, has decided to take the place kicks. He's been pretty useful in that respect for Connacht. Scored over 100 points for them in his league appearances there. Capped by Ireland as replacement this past summer in the second test against Japan. That was in June. And he could establish himself as a Kingspan favourite if he pops this one over. No, that's nicely struck by John Cooney in his first competitive game for his new province. Big boots to fill in so many respects, but he hasn't made a bad start. 3-0 to Ulster with 8.5 minutes gone.
Such a good string to have to your bow as well, Jim, being multifaceted. Concentrates first and foremost on the scrum half skills, but the place kicking option, very, very important.
Taken in by Ulster, they managed to keep it in field, but I think it was just nudged forward perhaps by a Cheetah hand. Andrew Brace comes over to the far side. And this, in fact, has gone into touch, so it's going to be a line out, and it's going to be a Cheetahs line out. Well gathered by Tommy Bowe. Couldn't get the ball away to Louis Ludick, and he was in touch when he made the second pass inside Fenter. That's not a good pass. And that was nudged forward, and Ulster will get the scrum, and if the scrum goes as well as the first one, Ulster will be happy enough. 9.5 minutes gone, 3-0 to the home side. Hugely important that Ulster win this opening game. This
is a massive banana skin. Opening game of 3 this evening, but probably the most high-profile one, given that the Cheetahs are new into this competition, and there's a lot of media attention on the game tonight, Jim, as well. And Ulster, while they're expected to win, as Ryan and Andy said, the Cheetahs have played a lot of rugby so far.
Ulster just 3 pounds a man heavier, which you wouldn't have expected, given that they're playing a South African provincial pack.
Time in, boys, you're both in there. We're on the binds, okay?
Cheetahs top of the Curry Cup, and their second string side is playing in the Curry Cup against the Natal Sharks tomorrow, so they're battling on 2 fronts at the moment. But they had a squad of well over 50 players, but they've a handful of players on South African duty and putting out a second team, so resources stretched a little bit, but they've so far thrown, it seems, their eggs into the Pro 14 basket. Kyle McCall on the Ulster loosehead side, who missed no fewer than 15 games last season because of injury. Cooney. Coetzee just adjusting his feet, picks it up. Andrew Brace almost gets in the way. Here goes Coetzee. Capped 28 times for South Africa himself. Andrew Trimble makes the best of that one. They're still inside their own 10-metre line. Cooney again. Dyack runs into Reniel Hugo. Cooney looking to kick. No, he's just about got that perfectly. Here goes Trimble, knocked back by Andrew Trimble. Stuart McCluskey sweeps. Cooney, Coetzee in the outside half position. Only played 4 games last season. Still there for Ulster. In goes McCluskey to clean out. Fano, nicely done. Piotau, we have chance. Piotau wriggles and then manages to lose the ball. And referee playing advantage to the Cheetahs. And will they take advantage? Well, they've kicked it, so one assumes the advantage will be over. That might go a bit too far. Well, Ulster left it just a wee bit on the late side there. Louis Ludick had to make a decision whether to play the ball or wait till it went over the touchline, or the goal line, I should say. And that'll be a 22 dropout, methinks.
Yeah, Piatoy just with the turnover, but look how quickly the Cheetahs turned defence into attack. Limchis looks up, knows that Ulster are attacking, and then happy to put the ball in behind.
John Dysel takes it up. Good pivot by Coetzee, a good footballer. Cooney, Eliafano, what a lovely pass. Rob Herring takes it on and knocks it on. And that's going to be a scrum to the Cheetahs. Ulster trying a few things, but the finesse is maybe lacking at the moment.
Yeah, the finesse is lacking, as you say, Jim. But again, typical Southern Hemisphere defensive setup. Tackle in, very few men committed, and then what you have is good organisation. You have a man behind the ruck, you fill your pillar and your post, and then you talk from the outside in. And what it gives you is numbers in defence. So Ulster looking to try and attack that with target men outside, but again, Cheetahs have the numbers there to cover it quite simply.
Capped 19 times by Australia, the first against the Lions in 2013, against whom he played all 3 tests. Christian Eliafano. Charles Murray on the loose head side for the Cheetahs. No great advantage in the scrum so far. Centre has a go himself. Oh, he's got away from the Ulster defence. Little chip and chase. Here comes Small Smith. And bundled into touch was John Cooney, who was covering. And that really could have been a try. That was clever stuff there. And what a break by the 30-year-old scrum half, Sean Venter.
Absolute class from Venter. Chris Henry just caught napping. Referee runs a little block line, but Cooney does well, Jim. Classic scrum half counter flag. Ball just doesn't set up. But you still have to be there to sweep up the pieces, and Cooney does that ever so well. But William Small-Smith just, the bounce of the ball just eluded him right at the very end.
Small-Smith is a product of the great rugby school in Bloemfontein. In Grey College, when Ruan Pienaar was a pupil there as well. Lumkes gets it away. Venter. It's Makazole Mampimpi. Venter again. Taken on by Reniel Ugo. Venter also need to keep a shackle on him. This is the open side, Henko Venter. Who's a nephew of the great Springbok back row forward who played in the 1995 World Cup winning side. Ruben Creer, who alas died before he was 40 years of age. Coetzee, the Namibian, played in all 4 games in the most recent World Cup.
Hold.
Back to Lumkes. And he's judged that just about perfectly. Another 6 inches, and that would have been directly into touch, and Ulster would have come all the way back for the scrum. But the Cheetahs are keeping the lid on the home side with 15 minutes gone.
Limchis times the ball very nicely, doesn't he? Just happy to sit back. He's pinpoint, but he also gets a lot of distance on that, and that's an absolute outstanding kick, giving Ulster no chance to pick up the pieces from it.
27 years of age, a regular on the South African Sevens squad. Rob Herring. Well back by Ulster. Marcel Coetzee. It's a nasty hanging curling kick. That's judged perfectly. Well taken though by Roscoe Speckman, who's got genuine pace, and that's back inside, and it's going to be the first try for the Cheetahs. And Clayton Lumkes dots it down, and the Cheetahs just picking up as Ulster were a wee bit on the careless side.
You have to say, Jim, the Cheetahs deserve that fantastic take in the air. Speckman so good under the high ball, under pressure as well, but comes in from the right wing. You see him challenging with Trimble, lands, pivots, and then has the acceleration to go away. Again, putting the ball into 2 hands, ball inside, and Limchis almost made that harder for himself by stepping back outside John Cooney. But again, so much pace in this South African back 3. If your kicking game and chase game, more importantly, is not spot on, that's what they can do to you.
Well, the try scorer and the man who gave him the try scoring pass are both Sevens exponents, and they have got blistering pace. He looks pretty pleased with that one. Coming up to 17 minutes gone. He missed almost an absolute sitter after just 3 minutes. This is slightly more difficult. As William Smith again. That's a bit better. Was a very good kick, that is. And he's added the extra points. And 17 minutes gone, and Ulster trailing by 7 points to 3.
If anybody here, Jim, or anybody watching at home thinks that this is going to be simple for Ulster, the opening 13-14 minutes have dampened all those expectations. Cheetahs are a good rugby side, they're match fit, they're winning matches as well, but very, very positive with ball in hand, exciting to watch.
And they've got genuine pace out wide. That's a good restart kick.
Gone 10.
Terrific kick. Well taken in by Stuart McCluskey. Cooney. Nice little angle to Kyle McCall. Good to see him back playing again after a long spell out through injury. Ludick gets it away. Good defending there by the Cheetahs, but Ulster got an open field. Leliafano sets it up.
Hands away now. Good.
Cooney again.
Stay there.
Back on the Ulster side, we have lost the match clock. Oh, there, it's back again. Hello, match clock. And hello, Tommy Bowe. And Bowe has the pace to get in. And Ulster back on the scoreboard. And Tommy Bowe extends his all-time league record try-scoring count to 66.
Well, what Ulster did there, Jim, was they managed to speed up the ball at ruck time. And Cooney's making a real nuisance of himself. He's getting to the breakdown quickly. The ball's nicely there. And it's Piatoy just with that spot pass in behind Herring. Ludick then hitting Tommy Bowe in a short line. And the old man still has a few wheels left to show. And he goes once again. Great pass from Ludick. Bowe just keeping his width, running nice and straight. And nobody's going to catch him from 30 metres out.
There was a huge gap suddenly appeared, and Louis Ludick, who's a wonderful footballer, he's played over 80 games of Super Rugby before he came here. He's now actually Irish qualified, although he's unlikely to be considered given his age profile. But he saw that there was a huge gap there, and Tommy Bowe read it wonderfully.
Just having that ability, Jim, having played a lot of rugby at 15, those blindside wingers, working angles, coming on Piatoy's short side, but again running across, drawing Bowe onto him then straight. Tommy able to see the space, and delivery was perfect from Ludick.
Cooney not too far away, but Ulster back in the league. We're coming up to the end of the first quarter here, and Ulster leading the Toyota Cheetahs by 8 points to 7. Tommy Bowe couldn't have timed that any better, and nobody was going to catch him. There's a fair old pace still there. Blumkes. He's put that along. Taken in by Charles Piatow. Cooney from outside is 22. That's a handy enough kick, maybe a wee bit far, gathered in by a Sergei Peterson, the 23-year-old. Now watch this fella, he can shift. He's very nearly got away. That's been knocked forward, and away goes Cooney, and he seemed to be half taken out by Small Smith. And Speckman gets all the way back. In fact, it's not Speckman, it's a replacement. It's another flying machine called Cecil Africa. Here goes Dazel. Knocks two fellow South Africans out of the way. Cooney, McCluskey thought about the inside pass to Ludick, who's put himself about. Wrong option there, perhaps. This could be interesting. That's been kicked by Mampimpi, and I think he's got the legs, and this could be a try for the Cheetahs, and it is a try for the Cheetahs. Well, the kick was speculative, it didn't work out. And Makazole Mampimpi, he's scored 11 tries in just 14 Super Rugby games, gets the second try for the Cheetah. And what an evening we're having here at the Kingspan Stadium.
Fantastic. What a turn of speed there. Charles Piatoy must have had 5 or 6 metres on him, Jim, to start with, and Mampimpi he pinned those ears back and he went, and on this occasion he got the bounce of the ball just as it looked as if it may pop out of their ball area. Ludick takes it across, tries to thread something through the rebound, and Mampimpi just reacted quickest. Good soccer skills with the fly hack through, and he's toasted Piatoy. Ball just sits up for him, he just has to fall on it.
Well, the kick was perfect in terms of the weight on it. He had a wee glance to his right, realised that Charles Piatow, for all his pace, wasn't going to make it. And it was that clever hack through from an Ulster mistake allowed the Cheetahs to get their second try, and Ulster will have to do it all again.
We mentioned how dangerous, Jim, their back three are, the pace they have, and on the counter-attack as well, they can make something out of nothing, and on that occasion, McPimpy's the man.
Another tough one, perhaps even tougher for William Small-Smith to open up a 6-point gap. Oh, he's hit that nicely once again. Well, he's got the two more difficult ones. He'll be a bit cross with himself still, but he's landed 2 conversions, and the Cheetahs now 14-8 up.
Yeah, I think the first one was obviously down to nerves, Jim, the one that he missed in front of the sticks, because the second two have been superb. A strange style of kicking, not the longest run-up, quite a staccato strike, but he has the distance if he needs it.
Early thoughts midway through this first half from Ryan Constable.
Yeah, interesting to see the Cheetahs playing everything off the top and the line out, using those second man plays, trying to hold those defenders in the midfield and exploit the pace they feel they have out wide. A few mistakes from both sides, and we've seen tries created from those turnovers. Ulster will need to keep their kick chase game in check to make sure they don't give those opportunities for counter-attack.
Back to Lumkes. Well positioned by Pietau. No, he will have a go. That's a good run by Pietau. He's brushed off a couple of tacklers and he's over the 22. What a great run by Pietau. And again, Ulster getting across that gain line. Coetzee with the ball in hand. Robbie Dyack, support by his skipper Chris Henry. Not much out here in the way of support, so Christian Leofano has to go to ground. John Cooney. Deisel knocks it forward. Just a half tackle there, and the ball was dislodged, and up he gets, and he's having a little word with one of the Cheetahs fellows. He didn't like the tackle. There's a little bit of afters there. I thought there might have been a hint of a hand in the face there for John Deisel. But what a good run, Tony, by Charles Pietau.
Yeah, Pietau again, Jim, so dangerous in the counter. Brings his other players and the rest of his teammates into play so well, but from broken play, able to step and go through. And perhaps John Cooney just went the wrong way there. Deisel found himself isolated and trying to transfer the ball into his good hand. The pass from right to left, uncharacteristic, knocked on. And perhaps the call should have come from the Ulster player standing left of that ruck to Cooney to switch direction where they had the numbers.
25 minutes gone. Cheetahs 6 points for the good. Ulster need a converted try to get themselves back in the lead. Centre, not altogether down the middle. It's a good scrum. Lumkes, again a little bit of width put on, and they're trying to create an overlap. Cecil Africa, who's come on. Penalty against the Cheetahs.
Yeah, I think they're guilty just of holding on, trying to rotate his body one more turn to buy some time for support play to get there, and also just dampened their defence, didn't rush up as quickly that time, showed him the outside. McCluskey happy to cut him down.
And Ulster, I'm pretty sure, will go into the corner, and indeed that's what's going to happen. Christian Leofano to give Ulster an attacking line, and that's not a bad kick from a very tight angle. Not quite a sellout here. That's the opening night of the new Super 14 season. Incidentally, the next 12 games after this you'll be able to see live with us here on BBC Sport NI. That's the drive by Rob Herring, joint skipper last year. Deisel is in there with them. Referee's got the hand out for a penalty to Ulster. And what a good forward drive that was. And if Ulster are going to win this game, they'll have to do something like that every time. And I think there's going to be a card for dragging that down. I have a feeling that Charles Murray is going to the bin.
1 entry, 7 claps.
Oh, it's not. It's number 7. It's Henko Fenter.
It's a dynamic ball.
Thought it was number 1. It's number 7.
I think he could have had his pick, Jim. It was Murray with the initial penalty. And then as Ulster recovered and drove on, it was Venter who came in and dragged that down. But great set piece from Ulster. Herring finding Alan O'Connor. Nicely tidied up at the back. Get the weight on in the shift round the side. Keep your feet. Very hard to stop.
Oh, they made a mess of that. And it's been knocked forward, and O'Connor's gone to the line, and the referee is going to bring them back to see what if there was an initial knock forward. Now, he may go up, he may consult with his TMO from Wales, John Mason.
Yeah, initial first is a knock on orange. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, we'll check that.
I think initially it was a knock on
John,
by the Cheetahs, so
so
Ulster may well get the
first
scrum.
knock on by orange, and then we want to just check
Did
if
they take that too quickly, Tony?
Okay,
Well, possibly. It's brave by the Cheetahs throwing somebody up on your own line. Most teams tend to stand on the ground, not to defend the ground, Jim. Give the attacking side who have the put in a free catch and then wait for the man to land and drive at the touch. Cheetahs threw a man up to try and disrupt it, which they did. And it's literally going to come down to a fingertip touch here. Did Ulster knock that on, or did the Cheetahs get a hand in?
I think Cheetahs got the hand in. It went backward, and then it was knocked on over the line by the Cheetahs fullback, Sergei Peterson. And that is going to give Ulster the 5-metre scrum. Now, if there was advantage, I think Alan O'Connor might have got the touchdown. Did he get it over the line? Well, look, if there was advantage from that knock on, then Alan O'Connor might just be awarded the try.
It looks like he may just have done enough.
Well, Andrew Brace is consulting with his TMO, John Mason. Let's have a look at that again. It was knocked backward by the Cheetahs second row, Reniel Ugo.
No, the other angle,
and then it was knocked forward. And there's O'Connor.
This is stolen by orange initially.
Might well have got his first Ulster try.
Bear with me,
The Ulster players think he has.
Let's come forward from the Cheetahs. Good pressure from Herring. O'Connor does well to go down on the ground.
He scoops it under his body and then plants it down. No, Herring.
Just need that to roll through, Jim. Do we see? Does he get it up?
Well, that's a try, Tony.
Stolen by orange initially.
Yeah, and Ulster are shaping up for the conversion.
White just taking it.
They're convinced it's a try.
Yeah, I agree. So I can award the try.
You may award the try.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
John Mason has told Andrew Brace he may award the try. And this is another try for Ulster. So 2 tries apiece. And the Ulster fans, with almost half an hour gone, will be pretty pleased with that. The conversion to come. Well worth the wait.
Absolutely. Ideally, the line-out should have been taken. Once the line-out was lost, though, Herring made up for his error in the underthrow, putting massive pressure on the front of the line-out. That caused the knock-on. And O'Connor, who was meant to be the recipient of the line-out throw, he got himself back in terra firma, poured through, did well to pick that up and dot it down from a couple of inches.
Well, that's closed the gap to a single point. John Cooney, who was tantalisingly close with the conversion attempt of Tommy Bowe's try. Solid enough contact, terrific result. Ulster back in the lead. Well, we knew this was going to be an entertaining and exciting game. I don't think we've seen the best of it yet. 15-14 to Ulster.
Now, great opening 27, and hopefully there's plenty more to come. And John Cooney strikes the ball nicely, doesn't he? He looks very relaxed over the ball, doesn't hit the ball too hard.
Well, we thought Ulster made a mess of that line-out, but it turned out quite well for them. Here goes Charles Pietau. Tackled by Reniel Ugo. Good presentation by O'Connor yet again. Cooney's getting that away quickly. Liliafano's put a lot on that. That was a foot and touch. Well, I'm pretty sure there was a foot and touch there. I don't know what the touch judge was doing, but he didn't seem to see it. Well away by Venter. The crowd certainly saw it. This is the Namibian known as Aranos Johan Kutsia, and also get the penalty. So maybe justice has been done, Tony.
Yeah, classic jackal from Chris Henry over the ball. Peterson actually did quite well. I didn't quite see if there was a foot and touch, Jim, but to trap that, the ball looked as if it was moving in the air, and you see Henry here just straight in over the ball, through the gate, hands on, unable to be cleared out. It's classic open side play.
Well, there's this occasion. He was in contact there.
Yeah, he touched
and he touched it with his left. His left toe was in touch.
Absolutely.
And Liliafano's found a very good touch to give Ulster an attacking platform.
I think the benefit of the doubt, Jim, has worked out for Ulster. Obviously winning the penalty in midfield and able to kick into the Cheetahs 22 and receive the throw into the line out as well. So They got the best of all worlds there.
Rob Herring. Could see it. Oh, straight through McCluskey. What a finish by the big fellow. His fellow centre, Tommy Bowe, got the first try. Stuart McCluskey's got the third one. His 7th try in the league and his 8th try overall for Ulster.
Well, that's the beauty of off-the-top ball at line-out time. Putting big men like McCluskey into space as well. There's a mix-up between Schumann and Jordan at the back of the line-out. Cooney hits a really flat line and McCluskey's almost on air. He's unimpeded. Jim comes across. Picks the line beautifully, straight through, like a hot knife through butter. The Cheetahs don't even get a paw on him either.
A wee hop and a skip there. A hop and a skip by Big Stu. And hugs all round. So Ulster not just back in the lead, but just easing in front. And they've got to keep this pressure on. And this kick would go a long way to keeping that pressure on. There, he's done it again, Cooney. So not bad at all by Ulster from 14-8 behind to 22-14 up.
The big dynamic, Jim, that's obvious to me this evening is the impression that Daisel, Coetzee and McCluskey are having in this game. Ulster suddenly now have a battery of guys who can carry the ball and get across the gain line. It makes the game so much easier.
And McCluskey's looking trim and mean. Knocked back cleverly by Ulster. Play on, says the referee, taken in by Jean Daisel. Gets away from a couple of tacklers. Justin Basson brought him down. Cooney.
Over.
Coetzee. Misses out Kyle McCall. This could be interesting. Now here's Tommy Bowe. Piatau with McCluskey outside him. Good step by McCluskey. Cooney, who's there quickly at the breakdown. It's another good pass, and there's Dyack again, and it was opposite number 4, Basson. Louis Ludic, Piatau relishes those physical contests. Kyle McCall likewise. Nearly a Fano. Could see a nice bit of footwork from Ulster's number 8. Chris Henry, Daisel outside him, decides cleverly to use that Louis Ludic who was inside him. Coetzee. Oh, he's so strong. Ulster on the front foot again. Can they get the bonus point before half-time? Here goes Daisel. Within touching distance of the Cheetahs line. Trimble moves it wide. Piatau, he's in. Bonus point before half-time by Ulster.
What a score. Fantastic interplay by Ulster. You've got the thrust of Coetzee and Daisel. Cooney's been superb. He's so quick to the base of things. Leofano with quick hands at 10, running flat to the gain line. Trimble picks up Piatau on one-on-one. You're not going to stop him from there. But here's Coetzee again, rampaging, going through. It's quick ball. There's Cooney again, then quickly. Nice transfer, couple of dummy runners. Trimble spots the outside space. Piatau bounces them both off and pops it down in the corner. Great score.
Well, he does know how to finish. That's his 10th try for Ulster, 6 in the league last season, 3 in Europe. Off to Bristol, as we mentioned at the end of the season, but he's determined to help Ulster to do something that they haven't done for a long time. It's been 2006 since they won this league. Too long.
But again, Jimmy, you can see the advantage. Could see a Daisel over the gain line. Suddenly you've got a couple of quick ball. Forwards end can stand flat, either take the ball or the dummy runner with the wrap around the back. It gives you so many options.
Bit of a slight miscue there for John Cooney, but he will be forgiven. So Ulster with 4 tries in the bag, and when you've got a side who's down to 14 men, you have to capitalise, and Ulster have done just that. They got 2 tries while the Springbok side or the South African side have been down to 14.
Yeah, I think what Jono Gibbs will like, Jim, is the way that the team have reacted. They haven't put the head down and gone to sleep.
Another longish restart kick. Louis Ludic. Cooney. Could see it. Quick ball. Surprised Leafano, but he's got himself away, and he's away. He's got a bit of help here.
Off orange.
Ball's all over the place.
Back off orange.
It was knocked backward off the Cheetahs, according to the referee. There was an early tackle there by Ulster, but the referee is going to bring them back, and it was knocked forward by the Cheetahs. Not knocked backward. Ulster will get the scrum, so they'll be happy with that.
South Africa, that well-known South African 7 specialist, did really well there. Great turn of foot from Leafano. So the option wasn't on. Happy to go himself. Cooney again, running that inside line. Leafano steps and Cooney takes up then, but that inside line. Africa just did enough, Jim. Kept this distance, knew he had him covered for speed, and then able to deflect. Lots of invention. Leafano looks so accomplished as well. I know he hasn't played a lot of rugby, but he looks as if he's been playing in this Ulster team for years, never mind just for 7 or 8 days.
Yeah, he's played most of his test rugby as an inside centre as
Absolutely,
well, so
yeah.
playing 10 is not his natural position,
No,
but he's slotted in well.
His distribution is fantastic.
Under 5 minutes to go to the end of it. Ulster with the bonus point try. Here goes Cooney on the narrow side. Piatau. Oh, Kutsia flew in there like an exocet. Here's Robbie Dyack.
Okay.
Good presentation. Cooney away. Leafano. Nice little soft hands there. Chris Henry. Oh, that's scooped up by Bo. Oh, that was a try.
Yeah.
Had the pass.
Okay.
Gone to Stuart McCluskey's waiting pause.
Big man just took his eye off it for 1 second. He knows it as well. You see him slap the ground. Look at the skill level from Henry again. Ulster look nice hard surface, ball out of hand, keeping the ball alive, and they're really starting to stretch this Cheetahs defence as well.
Well, they really need to keep this pressure up, Ulster.
Okay. Okay. We'll take that
And
on
the
board,
Cheetahs
Captain,
back
okay?
now to 15 men.
Yeah, time is on, lads. Let's go.
As the Henko Venter, the 25-year-old, comes back onto the field. 30 games in Super Rugby he's played, like a lot of these Cheetahs players.
Okay. Yeah. Happy over there, Leo? I didn't say anything there.
Referee just asking his assistant or touched as Leo Colgan if he saw anything a little bit untoward. Les Kiss, having been worried a wee bit, must be slightly more relaxed about it. On his left, John O'Gibbs, the former All Black, and on his right, Dwayne Peel, the former Welsh and British and Irish Lions scrum half.
Good standards, really good. Let's keep
John
them going,
O'Gibbs doesn't
please.
look too worried, does he?
Scrum then with just over 3 minutes remaining, and the Cheetahs put in.
Bind. Set.
Good squeeze by Ulster. That's a good bit of scrummaging there by Ulster on the far side, and the referee's not happy about it.
Both up first.
He's saying that natural forces pushed it up, but Kyle McCall seemed to get underneath the Namibian international Johan Aranos Kutsia and take him up out of the scrum.
Jim, just a couple of variations for people at home for the scrum laws this year. Whenever it comes to the put-in for the team who has the ball, you must see the hooker raising his foot in terms of trying to strike it, number one. Secondly, it used to be that the ball used to come, or have to come to the number 8's feet at the back before it can be played. That can now be picked out of the second row's feet by either the 8 or the 9. Again, just to try and get the ball away from that contact situation and keep the ball in play. Less time at scrum, more time in open play.
Bind. Set.
Second time of asking. Down they go on this side, and the referee has penalised Vian Herbst, I think, for taking it down. Down on knees, and maybe it was Kyle McCall on the far side.
Straight to his knee.
Somebody went down onto their knee. So that's relieved the situation a little bit for the Cheetahs with just a couple of minutes to go.
Soft as well in there. McCall really needs to chase those feet and get them up underneath him. Don't really want to be giving away a penalty in the opposition 22, just as you have a chance to put the squeeze on.
Back.
Well taken in by the Cheetahs, but they're still on halfway. Sean Venter just asking for a little bit more effort, and they've put a bit more effort in. They've made another 10 metres.
Advantage.
A bit untidy. McCluskey up quickly, up a little bit too quickly, it seems, for the referee.
Thank you, thank you.
There is time for the line out.
Thank Thank you. No. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Marcel Coetzee having words with Andrew Brace. And they have found their touch, so if the Cheetahs could get something before half-time, Tony, the complexion of this game might alter yet again.
Yeah, certainly, Jim, a score or even 3, bring them back to within 10, but ideally within 6 or 7 would put a massively different complexion on it. And not surprised to see Marcel Coetzee get a bit of banter and barracking from his native home men.
Rory Duncan, the Cheetahs head coach, on the right of the screen, looking a little bit worried.
2 hold.
Well taken in by the Cheetahs.
Yep, stop.
Knock forward. Well taken in by Chris Henry. Away by Cooney. John Dazel. That's a clever little kick by Liliafano. Piatow didn't quite gather it, and the Cheetahs have done well to recover possession. Venter looking for a wee bit of space. There's nobody with any pace there, except John Cooney, who's got the kick away, and that should be half-time. And what a first half we've had. Ulster have got the bonus point in the bag, but strangely enough, not the game in the bag, Tony.
No, it's still wide open, Jim. Certainly Cheetahs started fantastically, bringing their own brand of rugby to the game, but Ulster have come back very well. John O'Gibbs will be really happy with the way they've reacted. They played some super ball out of hand, scored 4 tries, as you mentioned, and some really nice performances. John Cooney settled in really nicely, and his half-back partner at 10, Christian Leofano, both of them look so accomplished, and augurs well for the second half for Ulster.
Well, it's been a pretty pacey and racy start to the season. New visitors here to the Kingspan Stadium, and they've made a bit of an impression, but the side that's made the better impression have been the Ulster side. At half-time, they're leading the Toyota Cheetahs by 27 points to 14, and what a second half in prospect.
Well, it's been fast and furious and a feast of running rugby. 6 tries in all, 2 for the Cheetahs, 4 for Ulster, and quite a start to the new Pro 14. Well, cracking game at the Kingspan Stadium tonight. Andy Ward and Ryan Constable, you could hardly take your eyes off that one. I mean, how would you assess that first 40 minutes of this new formatted league?
Well, it's absolutely fantastic. I think both teams have clearly come here to play some rugby and put tries on the board. Going for those bonus points early doors is fantastic, and it's great spectacle. It's a perfect conditions, as we alluded to at the top of the program. So everybody at this point is living up to expectation.
Yeah, obviously the Cheetahs came here. We knew they were going to play an expansive game, Ryan, and we didn't have to wait long to see what they had to offer.
Yeah, if this is the new top Pro 14, then count me in. I'm having some of that. From the start, they wanted to play, and there were a few tries that came from opportunistic errors. Again, we're seeing the ball-carrying ability of Marcel Coetzee, who's been heavily involved, big repetitions throughout, and this high ball, 3 guys all focused around that ball, and perfect take, and once he gets space, that's what this team is about. They've got pace to burn out wide, had plenty to do, lovely inside support line, and they got off to a flyer.
Probably a little lack of communication from the Ulster boys going up there. They, as you said, didn't need 3 guys going up for it, but just a spatial awareness. He knew, he wouldn't even look, but he knew his inside support was there and the pass was on. So giving these guys an inch, they'll take a mile every time.
Yeah, certainly showing what they had to offer very, very early. And then Tommy Bowe tonight starting in the centre for Ulster. Is this where you think that Tommy could find he'll play most of his rugby this season?
Well, he's a pretty versatile player. He's played at the highest level. Ulster will move players around because they've got players with skill sets. You'll never have full choice of everyone fit and available, so he's doing very well. We see on this occasion takes a great little line. Louis Luddick holds it up well. A poor defensive read by the Cheetahs coming in, and that second man play working very well, and Tommy's a lethal finisher, as we know, and doing exactly that.
I suppose it gives Ulster a bit of strength and depth in that 13th position.
Very much so. You know, we look through the team sheet coming into tonight. It's a very, very formidable back line. There's so much experience in that back line, but Tommy just delays his run. His timing is impeccable coming onto their ball. A lot of guys might have overrun that situation and they had to catch up behind him, but he's a marksman.
And you're seeing Charles Piatow and Louis Luddick acting in that auxiliary 10 role as well. They're a threat individually, but they're also very good at positioning other players off them, and that makes it very difficult to defend against.
And then back came the Cheetahs again with another opportunistic great score.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. You know, we just sort of ran up a bit of a blind alley. We'd done exceptionally well to this point to get it here. That was a kick to nothing. You know, it really wasn't on. It could have gone either way, but here we go. Bit of space. Look at the gas here. Listen, he's got more toe than a Roman sandal. This boy, he can go because. Charlie Pietau's not so slow, you know, so he's done exceptionally well. But it's against the run of play. Ulster had the situation in hand, and there was no need to probably put that kick in, maybe just recycle it. So there's a little bit of a uncool head.
But the South Africans bring an exciting brand of rugby, and they come to play, Ryan, don't they, very much?
From the start, they've been taking ball off the top of the line out. They use those second man plays, trying to conserve the defence on the inside and use the space that they've got out wide. There's some clever little kicking options they've been using as well, just really trying to exploit that pace that they've got out wide. So perfect conditions for it, and both teams have entered into the spirit of the game.
Were Ulster fortunate, do you think, to be awarded the next try? Did you think there was a knock-on from the line-out or not?
It's a difficult one. That's a 50-50. You need to really break that down and slow it down. But, you know, the referees had a good look at it. I thought it was actually hard enough to give the try, given the situation there. It looked like there could have been. He's obviously got up in front of him. They've adjudicated that there. Whether that was a little movement in here, you know, it could have gone either way. But listen, we'll take it.
But you want to see guys pouring through on that line out, that desperation to get on that bobbling ball, you know. That's a key feature of teams that are successful. They don't compound mistakes. I also saw an opportunity that boys flying through and they're trying to get to that ball. You want to see that urgency and desperation.
But given the situation we were in as well down there, I think there was probably a little rushed. Very seldom will you see a defensive team put a pod up there to contest for that ball. So it was something probably out of the norm for what we're used to. So probably, you know, in a real situation, we lost that line out. And that's something we've got to look at, is that we should never have lost that line out. We'd gone for it. We could have taken 3 points. We overrid that. We went for that. We lost the line out. It was fortuitous that we got the try out of it.
Okay, well, let's hear from the Ulster manager, Bryn Cunningham.
Well, Bryn, entertaining, maybe too entertaining at times from your point of view, but what a start to the season.
Yeah, no, it's a pretty good advertisement for the first round of the Pro 14. I'm sure the organisers will be pretty happy with what's been on display. So, yeah, it's been really, really entertaining. I think our guys have performed really well, and by and large, I think at half-time, we're pretty happy.
It's been an off-season of change, new coaches, new faces. Are you happy with how it's all bedding in? It looks very good from the first half tonight. Yeah,
it's pretty good. Obviously, the first two pre-season games probably didn't go the way we wanted, but pre-season games are never much to go by, and once you get into the season, nobody really remembers them. So as long as we continue in that sort of vein in the second half, I think we'll be in a good place. Obviously, once you go through a few phases, we know that the Cheetahs' defence can sometimes open up a little bit, and we've managed to open up some holes. And then similarly, whenever we're in defence, we just got to be on the guard all the time. We've got to be really wary of their attack, because they've got unbelievable pace in their back three, and they can score from anywhere.
Word from the players and coaches is that you're trying to form a new brand of rugby, a new style of rugby. What are you wanting to see over the next few weeks and months?
Yeah, a lot of it's just about being more direct, making sure that the forwards and backs are you know, there's good interplay there as well, and we're heading up the pitch in the right direction, and we're getting the basics right. I think that's absolutely critical. The pass catch, one or two little errors in that first half, but by and large I thought it was really good. We went through phases, and then the big thing as well is the ball carrying. We've got to get go-forward ball, and it's great to see the likes of Jean Daisel and Marcel Coetzee just dominating the contact area.
Suntanned and smiling, good to see you. Cheers.
Well, Ulster, I have to say, had promised a new, more attacking brand of rugby this season, and from what we've seen so far tonight, they've certainly delivered. Stuart McCluskey getting that third touchdown for Ulster.
Yeah, Bryn said it there very well at half-time. They wanted to be more direct. They've certainly been more direct, and no more so than Stuart McCluskey. He runs an incredible angle across the grain there. The defenders are probably thinking this is another second man play, and it's going to go in behind him, and he just comes across the defence, and a set-piece move that's worked to perfection. They're one man down, and it is the open side, so they probably haven't adjusted their defensive pattern. Water, you'd know more about that.
Absolutely, you know, there was a gap missing, and it was a classic with the open side. Should have been in there filling up the space and push boys out. But if you see where we started that line from, when Stuart McCluskey started that actual running line, it was almost in the centre of the posts, and he's come from such an acute angle that he's not picked up in the vision of the defenders. So, and it's left an absolute gaping hole, and it just looks superb.
Ulster much more abrasive tonight as well, with Coetzee and Daisel in the back row. And I mean, their last try, a real reflection of that, Ryan.
Absolute beast here. I mean, these two guys, this is what we've been lacking for me in Ulster rugby in the last sort of year, if not 2 years. The back row just combining beautifully, and it's opening up guys to just look at the platform. In 2 runs, we've gone 15, 20 metres. And I tell you what, Charles Peeltown had a lot of work to do to finish this off, and he just shows his strength and power.
Yeah, you'll see the whole time through this move, once Marcel makes that initial break, the Cheetahs are retreating the whole time, trying to find their defensive position. The second punch that comes from Daisel, and then they just haven't got time to reorganise their defence. And when you've got the threats out wide, you give this man just half an inch of space, and he is lethal on the finish. So that combination of go forward ball, it leaves the defence in disarray, and then you've got that finishing ability out wide. It's a really potent thing. Something that has been missing from Ulster's play was that ability to get beyond the advantage line and then take advantage of good quality ball.
Okay, thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Andy, for the moment. Returning to the Ulster captaincy this year, of course, is Rory Best. He will also continue to skipper Ireland as well. Now in his 14th season at Ulster, Rory told me he has no intention of hanging up the boots just yet.
Rory David Best, what a player.
I think that was something that I always would have liked to come back into, and it just seemed the right fit. Something that I'm obviously very honoured to be doing again. This is the start of my 14th season now, and I think you realise that the opportunities in that window become smaller and smaller, and it is, I make no secret of the fact that I want to be a part of a team that lifts something with Ulster, and you know, if me being captain helps in some small part, then it's something that I'm very willing to do. I still feel I have a lot to give, but ultimately I think from the very first time in 2007 that I took over the captaincy, I'd like to think that I've changed a lot as a person, changed a lot as a rugby player, and probably changed a lot as a leader. I've played under a lot of good leaders, and I've played and captained in a lot of big games, and you know, I hope to bring that experience to the squad and hope that we can get that balance right.
6 and 7 are swimming and they're inside on the poach. Just have a look at that.
I will do. Thanks, Rory. Yeah.
I want to be a part of a squad that drives and performs every week and has that consistency and ultimately delivers performances that are exciting to watch, but that are full of passion and full of the reason that we love to pull on the white jersey.
Best for the try, just the start of the second half that Ulster needed.
We now need a bit of stability. You know, we've got a really good, strong core of players here and some very exciting players outside of that sort of more experienced group. And you know, we've always had good coaches, but now Les has put the team together that he wants, and people come here to win things. People come here to perform, and people come here to play on a team that's full of internationals and full of promising young players and is full of promise. And we've got to now have the ability to turn that promise into something more meaningful, because when I do eventually retire, I'll be a long time retired, and I feel that if we don't win something with the group of players that I've played with over the last, 11, 12 years since 2006 when we last won something, it just wouldn't be right. I don't see any reason why I couldn't keep playing on, but look, I concentrate on what I've got. It's one more year at the minute, and I feel the body is more than able to go on, and the mind will always be willing to go on. It's a huge honour, and I'll continue to do it as long as I feel that I can contribute and perform to an ability that I'm happy with.
Well, Rory Best watching on tonight because he was with the British and Irish Lions. He'll miss the first 4 or 5 Ulster games this season. You can see an extended Rory Best interview, by the way, on the BBC Sports website. Cheetahs are on their way back out, certainly with the firepower in their backs, Andy. They're certainly not dead and buried yet. They're still well in this game.
Oh, very much so. If the first half was anything to go by, this game could be turned on its head in no time. So also have to be wary. They have to come out and it's 0-0 and come out here and just start afresh and go at it. They know what they're capable of and just keep playing rugby. You can't sit back and defend nothing now, because these boys, they want to set a marker down for sure.
What do you want to see from Ulster second half, Ryan?
more of what they did in the first half. You know, they're playing a very adventurous style, but it's underpinned by a robust performance up front. They'll need to make sure they don't give any cheap points away by kicking poorly and giving counter-attacking opportunity to the Cheetahs, but they're in control of this game and they shouldn't relinquish it.
Okay, thanks very much. Back for the second half with Tony and Jim.
4 tries to 2 for Ulster in the first half, the bonus point guaranteed, but as we mentioned, at the end of the first 40, the victory by no means guaranteed. An early score could certainly help that along. Long restart kick taken in by the very impressive Marcel Coetzee. And Ulster down the years have loved a number 8 who takes on the opposition. Roger Wilson did it for a long time. We had Nick Williams doing it, and Tony McWhirter a long time ago before that in those heady days. Remember all the way back to '99 when Ulster won the European Cup. Good clearance kick there by the new signing from Australia. Back inside to the speedster Cecil Africa. And here's another one. That's gone loose. Ulster could do with capitalising in this. Lovely bit of skills there by Stuart McCluskey. Set it up for his fellow centre Tommy Bowe. Ulster on the front foot, way offside there. Referee's got the hand out. Here goes Louis Ludick looking for a try. Has he got the strength? Oh my word, he has, I believe. He has got the try. What a start to the second half by Ulster. Advantage played by the alert Andrew Brace, the referee. And Ludick showed remarkable strength, remarkable skill, and remarkable determination. 5th try for Ulster.
A good chase from the kick, Jim. The pressure applied, and John Dayshall just finds himself on the right part of the pitch. What does he do? He picks it up and does the simple thing. He goes forward. You see him with a bone-crunching tackle to start with. Ball comes loose. He's first to react. Cooney again, the service beautiful. Slick hands from Diak. Could see at the Piatow, he does the simple thing, draw and give. And then just gives his buddy Ludick that little nudge over the line for 5 points. Great start in the second half for Ulster.
Cecil Africa's attempted tackle there was not awfully impressive, you have to say, but Louis Ludick's finish was impressive. He is such a versatile player, now 30 years of age, playing his 55th Ulster game this evening. And here's a man playing his first, and he's provided an excellent half-back pairing with his new partner. And his kicking maybe just a little bit awry, but that'll come. So 2 minutes gone in the second half, and Ulster scored a try after one of those minutes. 32-14 they're leading.
And it's all about the play. Just again, look at the good hands from Diak to Coetzee. Piatow just does the simple thing, pass and give. But what started a lot of these moves, Jim, after the likes of Dayshall and Coetzee have got over the gain line. Cooney's service, very simple, very efficient.
Lumkis puts it long. Very athletic there by Robbie Diak. Now, he wasn't touched by an opposition player. Coetzee did well to pluck that off his toes. Cooney, Liliafano, McCluskey.
Away now.
Well tackled there by Reniel Ugo. Liliafano, it was half blocked, so Ulster are back on side again. This could be interesting. Lumkis tries to step inside. McCluskey nails him. Chris Henry, there's nobody better at that. And well won by John Dayshall. Great steal by Ulster, who've managed to give it away. Jacques Dutrois, the Cheetahs hooker. Fenter again. Spilled. He looks a wee bit on the nervous side, Clayton Lumkis.
No advantage.
And that's gone directly into touch, but the referee, Andrew Brace, will bring them back for the initial knock forward because Ulster failed to get advantage from it. What a start of the second half.
Yeah, again, plenty of pace, plenty of power from both sides, but perhaps uncharacteristic of the Cheetahs' performance, Jim. What we just saw there now in the first half, that turnover ball they were so effective at. Good structure to their game. On this occasion, Bloomsey's just juggles, but again, McCluskey and Henry, that choke tackle, they do it all the time, so effective. And John Dayshall picking up the pieces.
Well, the Cheetahs outside half, Clayton Lumkis has left the field. There's a more than interested spectator right smack dab in the middle. Irish coach Joe Schmidt.
Coach!
So the vastly experienced Rhino Benjamin, the 34-year-old, has come on for the Cheetahs.
Yeah.
First scrum of the second half, and a good scrum it is for Ulster. Quickly away by Cooney. Miss move, Tommy Bowe. Nice sidestep. Nice dummy by Tommy Bowe. Cooney in quickly. Dyack.
Tackle.
Ulster still inside their own half. Cooney gets it away. Good hands. Set up by Kyle McCall. Fast hands there. Referee having a good look. Playing on. Here comes McCall again. It's good clearing out by Ulster and good forward movement by McCall. Liliafano, Trimble. Oh, nicely done. McCluskey needs to give it. Tommy Bowe came inside, but it's okay. It's still there with Ulster, thanks to the clever work by Chris Henry. Liliafano. Good change of direction by Marcel Coetzee, Ulster's number 8. Vian Herbst. Ferocious handoff. Cooney. Diesel. Gets up to halfway. Ludick. That was the sensible option. Here goes Piatau, but I think it's going to find touch. And Ulster may have lost possession, but they've got themselves ensconced deep into the Cheetahs' territory. Almost 6 minutes gone. 32-14.
That's better from the Cheetahs defensively, Jim. Just shackling Ulster, making the first up contact count, putting the man on the ground. Ulster then struggling to make that slow ball into quick ball, and in the end, Ludick runs out of options and slides it down the line, giving away, getting territory, but giving away the ball. But better from the Cheetahs.
The stoppage there for Vian Herbst, nothing more serious than a dislodged boot. Give everybody a chance to take on some much-needed waters. Played at a heck of a pace, but what a perfect evening for rugby, Tony. There's no wind, there's no rain, the pitch is in great condition, despite that little bit of extra painting, which Ulster Rugby could have done without.
Yeah, in some ways you'd say so. You know, obviously we're not playing at altitude, but conditions very similar to what the high veld is. You know, nice dry evening, a little bit of dew, maybe starting to fall now under lights, and all bar the extra couple of thousand feet that aren't here. Bloemfontein, quite similar.
Back quickly. Thought Venter was going to attempt to kick the ball. It looks as if Makazole and Pimpy has moved into the outside half position. Here goes Africa. Not the sort of guy you want to give a bit of room to. And here is the speedster. That's a clever kick ahead. Ulster will need to be sharp. Piatau covers well. Runs himself not quite into trouble. And that's the right option by Stuart McCluskey. He's given that an almighty wallop, and that brings a not unexpected cheer from the crowd.
Yeah, good option again. Numbers down outside, had the presence of mind to look up and think, but Africa's so evasive, but fantastic sevens player. He's been on the circuit for a long time. South African captain, and Pimpy, as you say, Jim, pace to burn. But look at Robbie Dyack again, Jim, and that's the versatile, that first receiver off Piatau on this occasion, and it just gives you that versatility.
That was Reniel Ugo, the 27-year-old, who took it for the Cheetahs.
One stop!
That's a good drive by the men from what used to be the Orange Free State.
Say more.
Capital of which was Bloemfontein. These fellas play at home in a stadium which holds 47,000 people. Now that's a lofted one.
Contest fair.
Oh, Ludick, superb. Cooney. Rob Herring with Chris Henry in attendance. Neil Jordan, the Cheetahs skipper, has put in a fair old bit of tackling. Little change of angle there, and all the way back goes Benjamin, the replacement. Peterson, the fullback. Well, the ribald cheer there from the Ulster fans for the man who scored 16 tries in Super Rugby in 36 appearances.
Such an important part of the modern day game. If you're a back three player, having that ability to catch the high ball, and both teams have been so efficient at it this evening. For any youngsters at home, it's a big part of your game that you need to brush up on.
Yeah, that was never going to go. That was a poorish throw by Rob Herring. It was a shortened line out, the first of the evening. Cheetahs now looking for a little bit of something. That's good defending by Ulster right on the Cheetahs 10-metre line. Away by Tiger Schumann.
Okay, leave him.
Scooped back by Fenter. This is Coetzee. Nice little offload by the loose head prop to his hooker. Fenter again. This is good stuff by the Cheetahs. Nice handling by them. Also, going to have to be sharpish. Venter. The other Venter, Henko Venter, the man who was binned at the end of the first half. Again, they're trying to create a little bit of width. Africa, look at that pace. My word, they don't make them like that in Ulster. And this is going to be another try for the Cheetahs. Terrific stuff for them. And fullback Sergeal Peterson gets in. The referee puts the hand up. And that was all down to the scalding pace of Cecil Africa.
It didn't work out well. Africa taking the ball and just simply gliding outside that Ulster defence. Spotted a little bit of a chink. Somebody had pushed a little bit too high up, saw the gap and took it and then straightened it magnificently. And then Pimpy then just feeds Sergeal Peterson, and although he lost his footing, almost running too fast as he tried to go round the corner going under the post. But Jim, this shows you what this Cheetahs back three can do, and perhaps more importantly, these guys are match fit for 80 minutes, and that's maybe also something that Ulster aren't, only having played 2 pre-season friendlies. So we may see Ulster start to bring on a couple of substitutions just to give some fresh air, fresh legs and some fresh impetus as well.
Cheetahs look as if they're making a replacement, or a couple of replacements. I think they're replacing numbers 1 and 2. More of that in a moment. I can see Ox Nietzsche has come on, the loose head prop. In the meantime, it's all eyes on William Small-Smith. Not an easy kick for him, but he landed 2 excellent conversions in the first half. And he hasn't made that one, so it stays at 32-19, but another converted try, and who knows?
Yeah, there's a couple of substitutions coming on. Peter Nelson's taking the field, and Sean Reedy coming on for Ulster as well, and it's Christian Leafano and Marcel Coetzee, Jim, who are taking their place on the sidelines.
Probably means that Jean Deisel will go into number 8 and Chris Henry the 6 and Sean Reid the 7. And what a debut this fellow has had. Has the makings of a crowd favourite here at Kingspan. The job by no means done for Ulster. We've only played 11 minutes in the second half, and Ulster's early try has been cancelled out by one from the Cheetahs. 32-19. 8 tries we've had. That's gone directly into touch, and that will give Ulster an attacking line-out.
The Ulster, though they've started well, just need to reinsert themselves in the game after giving away that try. It was something that they did particularly well in the first half, and something that they didn't do well, Jim, last season. Whenever they gave away a score, they tended to compound it with perhaps conceding another one, and that was, again, something that was impressive in the first half, was the way that they were able to rebound and regain the advantage, but also drive home that advantage as well.
Well, he's entitled to be a little bit puffed. He's worked very hard in this, his opening competitive game for his new province. Cheetahs have replaced their hooker, and that was Ulster's line-out ball, and they managed to lose that one, which doesn't bode well. They have to keep possession and deny the Cheetahs the ball. Africa, they have a bit of an extra man they've created here. Ulster will have to be quick. That's come back off the derriere of Pete Nelson, and that's been knocked forward, unfortunately, for the Cheetahs by Rhino Benjamin. And here go Ulster. Reedy gets it now to Cooney. Cooney for the corner, back inside, gathered in by Ulster yet again. Here goes Nelson looking for his first try. He's got over the line, and the referee, is he going to give the try? He's going to have another look, and he's going to consult with the TMO John Mason. But for my money, Pete Nelson has got a try.
Come off, John.
Andrew Brayson is touch judging the perfect position.
View is held up for me, mate, so
and again, it's just
so try yes or no, please.
Okay, we'll check
just
it
a
now.
mistake. Benjamin gathering the re-kick, just not able to keep it. Jim, ball goes to ground, and again, it's that
It's whether or not
defence into attack on the read. Just that quick adjustment, and Ulster do well. And Pete Nelson gathers. Tommy Bowes there, McCluskey's there. Cheetahs may just have got a man underneath that.
Well, we might see a little bit better from there. There's the Cheetahs replacement, who played for the Ospreys and the Scarlets over a couple of seasons, Renier Bernardo. Did he get underneath that? Well, it's not clear and obvious from that. The initial instinct was to say, now that's a better one. Has that ball touched the ground over the try line? I think it has from that particular angle. Here they go again. I think the touch judge is going to get in the way here. No, he's not. Now get out of the road, please. Tommy Bowe is in there to help. Well, Ulster have gone all the way back to the halfway line, assuming that the try is going to be given and the conversion is about to be taken. What do you think, Tony?
It may come down to the question, Jim. You know, is Andrew Brace asking, is it a
again,
try, yes or no? In which case it's the team with the ball who get the advantage. Bernardo has done very well there in terms of positioning himself both underneath the ball but also blocking referee and touch judge
like his arms
from
underneath,
seeing that looks the best angle there.
Yeah, I can't see the ball grounded there.
Yeah, same here. So inconclusive scrum attacking, yeah.
Correct.
So the referee and the TMO have had a little word, and they can't see the ball being grounded, but it is going to be a 5-metre scrum for Ulster. So Peter Nelson very close to his first Ulster try. We got one from Alan O'Connor. He thought he was in. But Ulster got the attacking scrum. They've got to build themselves up now. This is all about concentration.
Absolutely, concentration. Front five dig in. Kyle McCall guilty in the first half of slipping on a couple of occasions, and just that little bit of dew starting to fall. Players now going, cleaning the studs, and also just need to get the set piece, the basics right here. Perhaps if Kutsia had been in the pitch, we would have seen him spring off the back. Dacel maybe doesn't carry the same acceleration, so perhaps more of a set piece play involving Cooney and Nelson. Louis Ludick moving and lurking inside of Peter Nelson directly behind the scrum.
So changes in the Cheetahs front row. Torsten van Jaarsveld, another Namibian international on his hooker. And one of his name, Oxnicha, on the loose head side opposite Fian Herbs. That's a solid looking scrum by Ulster.
Wait, on the 8.
Ulster trying to control. That's good work at the back by Dysel. Little slip pass. Stuart McCluskey driving through. Ulster have recycled. Pick up by Chris Henry. And as ever, he makes it available. All the pressure coming from the men in white. Cooney. Taken on by O'Connor.
Orange. Off feet 7.
Referee telling them to get back. Louis Ludick looking for a second, and good defending yet again by the Cheetahs skipper Neil Jordan. Good defence, good switch now. Here's Nelson. Piatau.
Rock formed.
Cooney switches direction. Dyack.
Away now.
Still there for Ulster. Chris Henry, a bit of help from his fellow from a Wallace High School pupil. Kyle McCall.
Release Gold.
Cooney. Tommy Bowe. Offside. And at this stage of the game, you know, with a couple of tries, just the difference. Ulster might be thinking about just taking the points, just to squeeze a little bit more out of this.
Yeah, potentially. They show good composure in terms of keeping the ball. Don't think they offered an awful lot, Jim. It's more a case of just crash bang, wall up, trying to bludgeon their way through. Perhaps guilty, O'Connor and Dyack, of being too high on their ball carrying and being knocked back too easily, but the Cheetahs sucked a lot of that up quite nicely, and just as well that Andrew Brace gave the penalty, because Reynardo Benjamin
he was gone.
He was gone.
He was gone. This, if I'm not mistaken, could be the first penalty of the evening. Maybe it's not. Cooney. He glides it between the opposition posts, and Ulster now 16 points ahead, 35-19. But we still have 25 minutes remaining.
Yeah, plenty of time for both sides, and also just need to try and keep that lead and perhaps extend it. Cheetahs now will start and search for that fourth try in terms of a bonus point, but that last stanza of play, Jim, something where Ulster are going to have to improve on their starter plays from scrums in terms of specifically close to the opposition line.
Got back by Robbie Dyack into touch, and that gives the Cheetahs the ball, which is what Ulster did not want to happen. Cecil Africa has taken over the restart kicking duties, playing in the outside half position.
Quicker, please, guys. Quicker, please.
Referee asking the Cheetahs just to be a little bit quickly. Munster leading Benetton Treviso 24-3, and Cardiff trailing Edinburgh under the tutelage of Richard Cockrell, the former Leicester Tiger, at home. Here goes Van Jaarsveld. Made it up to the 22. Dangerous times this for Ulster. Bernardo, the replacement. Africa again. Back inside. That was a high tackle. Not a particularly clever one by Ulster. Fenter. Lovely offload to Bernardo. Nothing wrong with that tackle. And Ulster get the penalty. Living dangerously, Ulster. They just need to settle themselves now, I think.
Yeah, they do. Chris Henry did very well. Rob Herring perhaps caught himself slightly lucky not to get pinged there for perhaps lying just slightly too long, but Henry did remarkably well over the ball again. We see the initial contact from Herring, drives and forces his man down. And it's Daisel then straight onto the ball, and Daisel's had a strong game. Straight on the jackal. Henry indeed in the bet and get the turnover and Ulster clear their lines.
Coming up at the end of the third quarter. Also with 5 tries in the bag. They thought they had 6, but Peter Nelson was denied just a few minutes ago. A bit sloppy, but nicely back. Nelson at outside half. McCluskey, Tommy Bowe taken head on and dumped to the ground. That was a good bit of tackling there by Ali Makajima. Herring.
Drive up 3.
Cooney. McCluskey. It's a clever little kick by McCluskey.
It is. Just again, nice option. Slow ball, nowhere to go. It's either kick it high and try and regain, or else just thread it through, slow the game down. But it's a hell of a tackle midfield. Tommy Bowe will know all about that in the morning.
He knows all about it this evening, never mind the morning.
In American parlance, he's taken a knee.
And as we're coming up to the midway point in the second half, let's have some thoughts from European Cup winner Andy Ward.
Yeah, guys, it's just real interesting. The battle is starting to heat up a little bit, and we can just see that these guys, Cheetahs, have come here to play. You give them an inch and they're just really breaking free. Ulster, even though the scoreline's sitting at 35-19, we've got to make sure that we don't stop playing and keep that direct rugby where they keep talking about is taking place. So a long way from the finish line on this.
He gets it away to Small Smith. Thank you, Andy. Sergel Peterson as well tackled by Ulster, and Ulster got the penalty. Ulster's defending has been pretty first class, Tony.
Yeah, the contact skills, Jim, have been very good. And again, it's the second man in. You make your tackle in, you have to fight for that space. Louis Ludic on this occasion. And those are obviously skills that John O'Gibbs has brought and they've worked hard on over the season. We've seen Daisel pull one off. Chris Henry's pulled one off, and the backs are also very adept at it. Louis Ludic on this occasion getting in, and all important, they have the lower body strength to maintain that position, and hands on the ball, so important.
Look, one of Ulster's 5 try scorers. 60 minutes played, 20 to go. Well taken by Dyack, who gets it at the second attempt, but it was knocked forward, and Ulster's line-out starting to malfunction in this second half, and that was the pattern toward the end of last season. You remember the game against Leinster when poor Rob Herring couldn't do a thing right and the line-out was hopeless?
Yeah, again, maybe just a little bit too much movement there. They've chopped the numbers. Dyack then trying to take a step forward, and John Daisel not able to make contact with him behind, so he doesn't actually have that acceleration in the jump to beat his opposite number in the air and get hands on. Subsequently then it becomes sloppy and he gets knocked out of his hands.
Bernardo got the hand in there and disrupted that. That's the first dominant scrum we've seen from either side, and the referee's given a penalty against Ulster.
Pulling out under pressure.
It's just standing up in the scrummage. Now, one wonders, will there be replacements made in the front row? The Ulster front row starting to tire a wee bit.
Yeah, it is, and it's not the biggest Ulster second row either. Jim Alan O'Connor's not the biggest in the world, and Robbie Dyack more of a back row forward, and just giving away a few pounds in there to the South African opposition.
Ulster seem to be bringing on Rodney Ayew, and I think it may well be Matthew Ray for his very first senior Ulster cap. So Vian Herbst will come ashore.
5
and
and 3.
The youngster, Matthew Ray. 23 years of age, and he's going to go into the second row. I think Rodney Ayew looking pretty trim, actually.
He's lost a few pounds, and Matty Ray, one of Kieran Campbell's academies, products now starting, hopefully from an Ulster perspective, to make their way through into the senior squad.
Yeah, played for Ulster at schools at under 19 and under 20 level, Matthew Ray. Peterson was well tackled by Ulster. Cheetahs, I have a feeling, are by no means finished. That's a good start by Rodney Ayew, put in a solid tackle. Venter gets it away. This is a replacement hooker. Well tackled by Dazel. Wee bit more zip than the Cheetahs play now.
No.
Well, they need more than 2 converted tries to win this game. There's Bernardo, the replacement second row.
Rock formed.
Venter. Oxnich across the 10-metre line. Cecil Africa getting no change out of McCluskey, who stripped the ball away from them. And Cooney gives it a thump. And Cooney was struggling a wee bit earlier on with a shoulder injury. I think he's maybe just got a wee bit of cramp there. I don't think that's too serious.
That's realistically Jimmy's first mistake this evening. Been really impressed with what he's done. Does the simple things so well, and isn't it nice to see a scrum half who doesn't chew too much out over the breakdown? Almost a la Peter Stringer, doesn't move gets his feet in the right position at ruck time. There's no step, it's just pick and go, pick and service. He plays his 10, does the simple things so well.
Cheetahs win that comparatively easy. Here's Africa. Good defending by Tommy Bowe in the middle of the park for Ulster. Sean Venter. And again, they're looking for space. And Pimpy comes in from the left wing. Venter again, there's a big gap there, and Ulster have to be clever here. The Cheetahs starting to lift the whole thing up, and there's another big gap there, and Ulster's defending is starting to look a little bit suspect. And would you believe it, the Cheetahs have managed to knock it on. And Ulster have come away with it. Here's Sean Reedy. Nelson, good handling. Chris Henry, a bit of zip there, tackled by Africa. Cooney, Nelson in the outside half position. Rob Herring, Cooney again, good handling by Ulster. Nelson, now it's Tommy Bowe. That's nicely away, McCluskey, good angle. He gets it away to Trimble. Good to see Andrew Trimble stretch his legs. Taken down by the neck into touch. Does the referee think that was a legal tackle? The crowd don't think it was. Andrew Trimble's not convinced either. I'd like to have another look at that.
I'll tackle there, unfortunately.
Trimble looks a bit nonplussed by the whole situation. He actually can't believe there hasn't been a penalty given there.
Yeah, John, can you hear me?
Yeah, we're going to have a word with John Mason, the TMO.
High tackle, possible high tackle there by Orange.
Yeah, we'll have a look at it now.
On the far side said it was definitely a high tackle. A sheepish look in the face there of Johan.
Here we go.
Foul play here.
There he is. Well, he's got him by the back there. What was?
That's clearly high.
Yeah,
always round.
I wouldn't have given that as
a little bit of a horse collar.
Yeah.
You've got to back the tight head for catching first and foremost. Because
well, exactly. Andrew Trimble won't live that down if the guy had actually got him. Well, he did get him. But
yeah, I agree with you. Yes.
I'm thinking penalty yellow.
You know, touch judge in a good position, Jim. Why he can't actually make a decision? Go to the ref.
It's always high.
You know, for me, that's the touch judge call. He should have made that, told the referee there was no need to go upstairs there and have another look at that. Yeah. He had a perfectly good view, should have made a decision.
It's in before the line, wasn't it?
Well, I have to say, I think that's a wee bit tough and your hand could see. I guess the law was being applied there. You know, when you're a prop forward and you see somebody legging it away from you, all you can do is have a grapple at him, but maybe I'm slightly biased.
Yeah, it's a little bit high. You know, I think certainly it's not the intent that he's going to hurt. I mean, it's a grasp of desperation, isn't it? To just try and get hold of any piece of him to slow him down, and by the letter of the law, he has to go.
So for the second time in this game, the Cheetahs find themselves down to 14 men. And last time Ulster capitalised to a fine tune. Another replacement, Tian Mayer, has come on to play scrum half. Off goes Sean Venter. Short throw to Robbie Dyack, very effective. Matthew Ray, the new cap is in there. Here goes Coney, another new Ulster cap. He's had a pretty decent game. That's a good pass, well taken by McCluskey.
Stay.
Strong enough to make it available. Oh, Herring's done well. Now there's a half chance here. Good take on by the Bullion Sean Reedy. Got his second Irish cap in the summer against Japan. Nelson Piatau. Piatau's through, slips it to Ludick. Second try by Ludick. They're going to come back and have another look at that. Well, Piatau thinks Ludick's got it. He thought he got the pass away.
Yeah,
they're going to have a look to see if the little slip was forward.
Piatau got the hand free, Jim, and it was slapped down. Didn't go to hand him. Ludick actually overran it then and almost sort of dragged it across the line with him. Now, he had it under control, but is the referee going to deem that it's a knock-on? It's not backwards by the Cheetahs.
Ooh, I think he scraped it forward from his hand.
It's the control issue, isn't
it?
And
Ulster not convinced. Piatau did wonderfully well. Put that inside shoulder in and slipped it away. It was touched and knocked backward by a Cheetahs player. And
Right,
Ludick,
I would say it has come back off
quite
orange,
get the
but
control
11
that
is
he needed.
knocked on just before the line.
Peterson did very well, didn't he? Fully extended, almost like a goalkeeper, just getting his fingers in there.
Correct, yes.
Okay, so scrum orange.
Correct.
So it's going to be a defensive scrum.
No, it's come back off orange initially, and then it's lost forward on the floor.
Just over 15 minutes to go.
Yeah, he's still connected.
16
well,
points
it's going sideways,
them.
one stop. That's why I said one stop. Good. Fair enough.
But again, Piatau doing what Piatau does best, has that ability. Just whenever you think there's nothing on, just that hint of a fade and a step, and able just to get outside his outside number in between two defenders and get those arms free. And if you can run off him, Jim, into space, you're always going to have a try scoring opportunity.
Still time off. 23.
Well, the Cheetahs are replacing our replacement. Tom Bota, who's a replacement tight head prop, is coming on, and Rhino Benjamin, who's a utility back, has gone off. So they'll have to take. Well, they're down to 14 men at the moment, so they're going to have. Are they going to have 8 men in the scrum?
Yeah, they've got a full quota there.
Yeah, they've replaced their entire front row. Remember. That's an interesting call.
Yeah, they're going for the full deck. You don't really, I would expect that of them. They'll look to set the platform and clear their lines effectively. But big chance for Kyle McCall to put the squeeze on the Ulster loose head side here. But he needs his back five working with him. Second rows and back rows have to stay connected.
Is that clear?
Give him that second shove.
Control on the near side for Ulster up against the 27-year-old Tom Bota. Ulster about to spring another couple of replacements. I think John Andrews going to be coming on, more of that in a second or two. Clock is ticking away, mind you. This is Tian Mayer, his first time he's got the ball in his paws. On for Sean Fenter. IU exert a bit of pressure. Not at the moment. It's not a bad Cheetahs scrum. They're really digging in, and they're just shifting Ulster back a little bit. Referee's having a good look, and Ulster need to hold on. They've managed to whip it round, and that's good work by Sean Reedy, and Ulster have done really well and forced into touch, and that's a good bit of pressure by Ulster from an initially iffy scrum.
It was in the end, Jim, but the Cheetahs were the authors of their own downfall there. Did the simple thing really well, locked the scrum out, had the ball at the back, and then tried to go for the arm wrestle, and Cooney and Sean Reedy, who basically wrap up the number 8 and throw him into touch. And once the Cheetahs had that controlled at the back, they should have cleared their lines. There was no need to try and take Ulster on at their own game.
Short line out by Ulster to Sean Reedy looking at the front. Now they've come in field. Now can they straighten and drive? It's all gone to ground legally, I think. Cooney having a glance. Taken on by Ludick. Thought he was in for a second try. Cooney again, one more for Ulster, might just seal this game for them. 13 minutes remaining, 16 points between them. Here goes Rodney Ayew, very nearly through for his first try. Loads of space in the near side. Nelson gets it away. Andrew Trimble scored a splendid try to help Ulster win the very last game of last season against Leinster in that corner, and it's been nudged forward, and then Ulster not releasing in the tackle, have given away a penalty and a chance gone.
Yeah, that's one of the few Ulster negatives this evening, Jim, for me, and something I'm sure the coaching staff will pick up on. They've had 2 or 3 starter plays 5 to 10 yards out from the Cheetahs line, and they haven't converted either of them, specifically in the second half. There's been one from scrum time, And on this occasion, they go for a bit of a dummy play with the flat, short throw to Reedy at the front, and just not enough guile in behind. You can see what they're trying to do. They use McCluskey as the dummy runner. Ludic in this occasion running that second man, as Ryan Constable would talk about, coming on the blind side, but unable just to get across the gain line. Great quick ball. And subsequently, the Cheetahs, who have defended manfully and really effectively, turn over in the far corner.
Callum Black has come on, and there, wearing number 23, is Darren Cave. And congratulations, this is Darren Cave's 150th league game for Ulster. What a record he has. He's only now 6 caps short of the magical 200. Callum Black is on as well. He's played almost 130, but Darren Cave is on. And there is Callum Black, played for Ireland at under 16, 18, 19 on A international level. Sturdy little performer, formerly of Worcester Warriors, been with Ulster now for half a dozen seasons.
Looks like they use the same barber as well, Jim. A couple of very short back and sides on the two boys.
12 minutes remaining. Change now for the Cheetahs. Gerhard Olivier, back row forward, who's coming on.
Is he coming? 5, you're coming, mate.
And here is the Namibian international, Torsten van Jaarsveld, like his pal who's in the Sinbin, Johan Coetzee, played in all 4 of Namibia's World Cup games in 2015.
Okay, we good, Kurt? Time on.
Bit of discussion there on the Cheetahs' part just to see where this ball is going. They've had to make a number of changes.
2 minutes.
Taken by the replacement, Olivier. Also trying to squeeze them toward that far touchline. Good control of the ball by the Cheetahs. On the narrow side, there's not a lot of room. That's gone back in field. Was it knocked forward? Not so, said the referee. And eventually, I think, prompted by his assistant on the far side, he's given the knock forward by the Cheetahs, and Ulster will get the scrum. So Ulster will just simply want to stay here. Big scrum, this one, for the new look Ulster front row. John Andrew, who finished the season strongly.
Yeah, John Andrew and Callum Black will be looking, along with Rodney Ayew, to impress in the 11 or 12 minutes that they have. But sometimes, Jim, it's been quite obvious for me, maybe in the second half, the amount of changes that the Cheetahs have had to make, whether enforced or tactical, haven't helped their cause. The structure of their game has fallen apart a little bit, both in attacking sense and dynamically. Certainly at line-out time, there's an unknown quotient there. Who's calling the line-out, who's catching? It just seems to have lost some structure.
Just 10 minutes remaining. Bit of a squeeze on by the Cheetahs. Cooney does well and made the sensible call not to pass because he was under pressure and he would have put the men outside him under more pressure. Here goes Ayew. Andrew Trimble into scrum half. Callum Black. Cooney quick to the breakdown. Nelson. McCluskey. That's a typical Stuart McCluskey forage into enemy territory. Nelson again. Trimble, who's come all the way around from the right wing. Hasn't seen an awful lot of the ball, so decides he needs a bit more. Deisel had a quiet second half, but that's a good strong run by the new signing. Now it's Nelson. Andrew. Got his first Ulster try toward the end of the season. Bow. Beautiful by Bow. Here comes Nelson, who's got a lot of zip. McCluskey again. Chris Henry was outside him. McCluskey's done the right thing. Cooney. Robbie Dyack. Nelson. It's knocked forward. Deliberately so. And the replacement prop, the Ox himself, is he going to get binned for it? I don't think so.
No, he didn't deny a line break.
Matty Ray was straight under the post, Jim, if that big paw hadn't come out. Picked a great line. And the Ox did what he had to do. He had just worthwhile taking the penalty there just to try and keep 7 points off the board. But you feel as if John Deisel could take on a bit of cult hero status at the Kingspan this year. All action and everything he does.
It was a bruising, bludgeoning, brutal run by John Deisel. 9 minutes and a wee bit remaining, less than 9 minutes remaining now, and Ulster look to be home and dry.
Yeah, and they got the bonus point as well, which Les Kiss will be really happy with. Second half maybe just hasn't had the tempo or the fluidity that the first half has. But from the Cheetahs' point of view, Jim, they're going to bring something to this competition. Started very well. Ulster really got them by the horns in the middle of that first half and put the points on the board. But we've seen enough from them this evening to know that they're going to be a handful on their travels, but they're going to be especially difficult to break down back at home in Bloemfontein. And anybody that goes there and comes away with the points will have done well.
Absolutely, and since the Cheetahs aren't actually in Ulster's conference, this is the only time Ulster will play the Cheetahs this season. They've got home and away against the Southern Kings, but they won't be playing Cheetahs until next season.
No, and the beauty for Ulster in terms of playing the Kings is it's at sea level. It's down in Port Elizabeth on the coast, and so you don't have that disadvantage of planning your journey up into altitude. Do you fly in early or do you just fly in the day of the game and play, which will make it easier for the Northern Hemisphere teams.
Taken quickly at the front by Ulster, trying to work a fast one, but it was knocked forward. John Andrew denied a second Ulster try. Yeah, it wasn't the greatest throw in the world. Wasn't taken just as cleanly as it might have been, so Ulster trying a little bit of something fancy.
Line-out will just need a little bit of fine-tuning next week before the Ulster team go to Treviso. It's been one facet of their game that maybe just hasn't looked as smooth or as clean-cut or well-oiled as the rest of their game, so no doubt there'll be some perhaps personnel changes for next week in terms of other squad members getting a game, but definitely some time in the practice field just to iron out those creases.
Well, quite a number of players to come back in, being rested through either Lions involvement or Irish involvement, and a few injuries as well, so certainly by no means Ulster's probably strongest 15 out tonight.
That's the beauty of the new coach, Jim, isn't it? You come in, John O'Gibbs has no preconceived ideas, although involved with Clermont, who Ulster played last year, but the slate's clean for the young lads coming through. They have a chance to really impress, and perhaps that fear factor for the older boys that they have to go out and re-impress, where in times gone by maybe they've had just that little bit of a comfort blanket there.
Well, the clock has been ticking away, and we have now just 7 minutes remaining. Shane Meyer. Good bit of stopping there by Peter Nelson. Meyer changes direction. There's nothing much available on that narrow side. That's good work by Tiger Schumann, the flanker, taken in by Cooney. Chris Henry. Dazel gets it away to Nelson. Oh, lovely dummy by Nelson. Cooney's been very quick to the breakdown. That's a good flat pass to Louis Ludic. Patience, I think, is the key word here for Ulster. Just keep possession. Move out. Dayak makes good ground again. Nelson. Ayew. This is Nelson. Trimble. Bit of support there from John Andrew. Reedy does well to avoid the first onrushing defender. Cooney. Nelson. Taken by Chris Henry. Well, he's made good ground, Henry. There's a weak chance in the narrow side, but Cooney's gone open. Rodney Ayew tackled by Mayer, the scrum half, who's half his size. Cooney, Robbie Dayak. Ulster pressing now for yet another try. Here comes Callum Black. Oh, that's good work by Matthew Ray, the replacement. Close to scoring on his debut. Nelson, dummy, he's in! Denied one earlier on, but Peter Nelson has got in for another Ulster try, and that should, without a single shot of the dog, wrap it all up.
Yeah, it was great from Ulster. It's patience personified. Just going through the phases. Those one-out runners from Cooney. It's Callum Black, it's Ayew, and then what we see just at the very end, here's Peter Nelson, just at the chip kick to Chris Henry holding his width. He comes in and sets it up. And Ulster have the support, Jim, but what we see here, Nelson taking it flat, Cave just runs and picks up the peripheral vision of Paul Schumann, and that just buys half a yard for Nelson, just a show and go, ride the contact and doth it down.
Yeah, very clever support role there by Darren Cave, did just enough to distract the flanker. So as if it wasn't enough scoring a try, he's got to try to convert it himself. Left-footed. Oh, he's done well. Peter Nelson converts his own try, and Ulster up to 42. Cheetahs 19. 4 minutes remaining.
Yeah, Ulster look very, very polished. Substitutions that they brought on have added to their game just the way that Les Kiss and John O'Gibbs would have wanted. And Peter Nelson slipping into Leofano's boots at 10, and he's been solid as well.
It was well gathered in by Tommy Bowe. Industrious Louis Lulick takes it on. Dave Shanahan has slipped on for John Cooney, and there he is. Ulster's replacement front row forwards in concert. Andrew to IU. Nelson. Shanahan. Little check. Oh, he's done well, Shanahan. Ulster need the quick ball. Robbie Dyack at scrum half. Ludick. Deisel centrally gives it to Reedy. Back inside to Ludick. This was good stuff by Ulster. And they undo it all by giving away a penalty, but with 3 minutes to go, they won't be too worried, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's Jimmy in this occasion. That jackal is so important. As a ball carrier, you have the option, Jim. Do you fight for that extra yard until you can try and get to your support, or do you go to ground early? If you go to ground early, you risk being turned over, and the Cheetahs equally averse of that jackal.
Well, smiles all round in the Ulster dugout. All the starting players pretty happy with their evening's work, as they may well be. John Cooney can be quite delighted with this evening's work. A little bit of a nick there, nothing to worry about. John Andrew won't care. Oh, good steal by Ulster.
Stay there, please.
Shanahan. Matthew Ray, nicely done. McCluskey. Well, takes a couple of players to bring him down. Shanahan. Tommy Bowe on the outside half position. Beautifully done by him. Good support play. That was Callum Black, the loose head replacement. Again, Tommy Bowe showing a nice bit of skill. Dyack. Shanahan. Deisel. What a good pass to Andrew Trimble, but alas, it was forward. He did have support from Louis Lulick.
Andrew Brace in a perfect position. The refs had a good game as well, Jim. He's gone upstairs whenever he's had to. There's been a good flow to the match as well. The ball's been in play for a significantly long period of time. The conditions have been good, but there's been flow to it. The yellow cards have been right whenever he's had to hand them out. And he can be well pleased with his night's work.
Well, it's been a terrific advert for the newly expanded Old Celtic League, now the Guinness Pro 14, isn't it?
Absolutely, and I know this match is being televised back in South Africa as well this evening, and hopefully from the South African aspect as well, they see what Ulster and what Northern Hemisphere club rugby can bring, perhaps to bring their own structured provincial game on.
Yeah, left please. Balance behind, boys.
Very youthful looking at Matthew Ray there in the second row beside Robbie Dyack, and on either side of him flankers Sean Reedy and Chris Henry. In the middle, a wee bit disconsolate, Rory Dunbar, the Cheetahs head coach. A lot to reflect upon after all this, and they've got to do it all again next week down in Munster. So not the easiest start from them. Two tough away games. Scrum moving about.
It's already at 45.
Just a few seconds remaining.
Lads,
this will, in all probability, be the last set play of the evening.
Control the hit.
I don't think there's any question, Jim, that two South African sides are going to find it difficult, specifically in the early part of this season, as you mentioned earlier on. Running in juncture with the Currie Cup at home, although they have a big squad, it's difficult to bring structure and continuity to their game. The travelling will be difficult, there will be teething problems, and it will take time to iron out.
Set.
Shane Mayer pops it in.
Use it.
That's all tidy. Play on, says the referee. Use it. There's a little something right at the end here for the visitors. This is Peterson, who's not slow, and Africa, who's definitely not slow. Mayer gets the ball, and a couple of Ulster players at the same time. Haven't seen too much of Ali Makajima. Mayer again. Replacement hooker, Torsten van Jaarsveld. Well, Edinburgh have done well away from home, and Munster have not really put the bent on Treviso with the sword. Not much of a change there on that score. 34-3 down in Cork. Africa, long ball. This is better stuff. Good tackle by Louis Ludock. Such an accomplished footballer. Can tackle and can make ground and can score tries. That's a good bit of tackling. Speaking of that, by Sean Reedy, Ulster's replacement back row forward. Mayer gets it away. Again, they've created space by simple passing. You can see the 7 skills there. That's a bruising run. We're into overtime, as they say. We're in the red zone time-wise. And Cheetahs looking to get themselves another try here. And Ulster will be hoping to deny them that. And it's gone loose. And Chris Henry, has he pounced? And it's been knocked forward by the Cheetahs. And that should be it. Andrew Brace, in this his 24th game. And his 3rd season at this level, has said that's enough. And Ulster, well, you couldn't complain A, about the performance, and particularly B, about the result. Ulster won this one, Tony, and with a bonus point.
Yeah, Les Case, John O'Gibbs, they'll be very, very happy, Jim. This was a potential banana skin. That's a good 8 or 9 out of 10 from Ulster for me in terms of performance this evening. The Cheetahs have shown that they have definitely something to offer in this competition. But it's Ulster who'll take the plaudits. John Dacell, man of the match. John Cooney must have ran him very close. And nice for the Ulster perspective again to see Marcel Coetzee back. But there's a long way to go in this season. But for the Ulster faithful at Kingspan this evening, they'll be happy with what they saw.
And for a lot of the Ulster players, it was the first game of the season. Some of them didn't feature in the friendlies, or if they did, it was only for a short time. There were a lot of new combinations to be tried in the back row and at half-back in particular, and of course the centre.
Well, half-back and the half-back situation looked as if they'd been playing together as a 5 for ages and ages. I say Cooney's distribution, his speed around the park. He knows what he wants to do. It's simple, get there and find his 10. Leofano was control personified. He got the back row into the game. We saw Coetzee, McCluskey, Dacell carrying over the gain line, something that Ulster have missed for the last 2 or 3 years. And with front football, this back line that Ulster possess can and will cut you to shreds.
Well, at one stage Ulster found themselves 14-8 behind just about midway through the first half, but they stiffened the sinews and summoned up the blood, to quote the Bard of Avon, and they've come through this in splendid fashion. So it's been a pretty decent start to a brand new campaign and a brand new season, and that is not a bad looking scoreline. It's Ulster 42 and the Toyota Cheetahs 19.
Yes, comprehensive victory for Ulster in this, the opening Pro 14 game. Andy Ward, Ryan Constable, give us your assessment of Ulster's performance tonight.
Oh, absolutely fantastic. You know, the coaches have been talking about it during the week, how they wanted to start this new era in a sense and be very direct in how they approach the game and take the ball forward. And tonight, I think the players, in fairness to them, stood up and were counted and delivered on what they said they were going to do. And I think a lot of credit to a lot of the guys as to, you know, putting it all to play. And everybody in that team tonight had their part to play.
You could hear from the chat at the start of the week, there was a little bit of trepidation from Ulster about this one. Not a great pre-season fixtures. Cheetahs, a lot of game time under their belt, an unknown quantity, hard to do analysis on it. They were very cautious about what the message was, but they certainly delivered and answered you know, some questions about how Ulster were going to start this season in emphatic form.
OK, well, let's hear from the man of the match. He's talking to Gavin.
John, congratulations. What a start to your Ulster career.
Yeah, yes, I just want to thank the team. They made it so much easier as a collective group. We worked hard this week on individual skills. We know it's not going to be easy, but hats off to the boys. I think we pulled together the team very well today.
What do you make of this atmosphere?
Oh, it's phenomenal. It's my first time out here in a league game, and I promise you it's all the best to the guys and all the best to the Cheetahs going forward, and thank you for the crowd that pitched up today.
What was the key to that win tonight?
I think it was a collective effort from the team. We made a lot of mistakes in the warm-up games, and we worked hard this week, and we sharpened up our skills, and I think it was a great team effort tonight.
Marcel Coetzee is shouting at you in the background. How good was it to be out there with him?
We spoke about it in the week. We just want to have fun as a group, and I really think we did that there today.
Was that a sign tonight that pre-season form means nothing?
No, I think we took a lot out of the pre-season games. We tried a lot of different combinations, and I think we actually put it together at the end in the first game here.
The new coaches, they've come in. How big an influence have they had over the course of this summer?
Oh, they're massive. They try to work on our individual stuff and try to give us freedom to play what's in front of us as well. So it's good to get on the park with the freedom from the coaches, and they're backing at the end of the day. So yeah, it's brilliant with them having them here.
You stay with us. You're going to get your Man of the Match award in a minute. We'll bring in the captain, Chris Henry. Chris, big performance tonight, big result. How was it for you?
Yeah, it was obviously fantastic to start like that. There was plenty of nerves leading into the week, but obviously the 2 warm-up games didn't go as we planned, but credit to everyone involved. We stuck to what we had to do. We worked really hard. That's not just the 15 or 23, it was the whole squad of players, and luckily, yeah, we put in a decent performance for our first outing.
And a bit of gain line being broken out there from the forwards.
Yeah, we got 2 big lads there in the back row with me who did all right tonight. And yeah, look, we did reasonably well. There's a lot to work on. It was a good test, but plenty to work on, but great start.
Yeah, great variety of rugby at times, and it looked very slick when it came together.
Yeah, Christian and Pete, I thought, controlled the game really well. When we played with our heads up and played what rugby's about, playing with space, running into space, we did very well. But in saying that, we were tested a lot. When we stick to our structures, we're good. So it's going to be another back to the drawing board on Monday, and we'll push forward.
It's early days. People don't want to get too carried away, but is there a feeling that everything's very positive?
Well, look, you've got to enjoy the wins, but this is a one-off game. It's, as I said, we've done nothing now. We've got a long season to go, and maybe in past years we've got caught up in the what-ifs. We just need to stick to what we're good at, and that's train hard every week and bring the best out of us to the weekend.
Maybe a word on the Man of the Match, a big performance from him tonight.
Yeah, look, that's the thing about this team now. There's some real leaders in this team. To have someone of the experience as John and Marcel and Christian, bringing the young lads from Ulster on, we're in a great place, you know, and as I said, the fans tonight were brilliant. We just got to keep this going now, stay positive, and hopefully there's more to come from us.
Okay, Chris, thank you. We'll now ask Colin Bell from Guinness to hand over the Man of the Match award to John Daiso.
So John Daiso is your Man of the Match. Andy, it was an abrasive physical performance from the back row. What did you make of the balance of that tonight?
I thought the balance is absolutely tremendous, and for a long time, you know, we've always had this, for me, a slight imbalance in the back row. We've had tonight, we saw 6, 7 and 8 working in unison and going almost back to the traditional roles, and guys just trucking it up. They're very direct and just muscling things up, and it allowed Chrissy Henry to do what he does, and he's an absolutely fantastic number 7. He's at the bottom of ruck, just beavering away, getting away at the ball at the bottom of rucks and so forth. You know, he's tremendous. But Coetzee, oh my days, he's just a man mountain. It takes 2 or 3 boys.
He's like a new signing for Ulster this season. He was so limited last year. In the 4 games he played, he was outstanding. But great to have him in the side.
It is, you know, and it's their ability to fight for that extra yard. They go into contact and accelerate into it, but they don't give it up easily. They're always